Is in the blue, the Ukrainian Zerg. It's Bly.
Now, I don't want to brag. I don't. And I shouldn't brag. But once upon a time, Serral has sent a singular message in my Twitch stream. Probably, I don't know, 2020, 2019. I looked him up. He sent a single message in my chat, Pog you. I don't know what was going on, but I have that Serral chat log in my own stream. So in the bottom left, it is the man who I still think about him. It's Serral. I mean, it's like I shouldn't brag, but at the same time, it's like I need to mention it. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that's absolutely worth bragging about. I had someone. I have a screenshot now of a comment made by another pro player in their Discord. They're like, you know, I don't hate Beowulf. I think he's not bad. I can listen to him. I'm like, you know, this is going on my wall. This is just, I'm gonna hold this close to my heart forever. I'm
gonna make a comment about you that I hate you, and it's gonna be on the same wall as motivation.
Exactly. See, it doesn't matter. I don't need people to love me. I just want to find strong emotions. So if you love me, you hate me, that's fine. Because you know, Mechanic, what is the opposite of hate? Or what is the opposite of love, excuse me?
Hate.
It's apathy.
Okay, so well.
If you don't have any feelings whatsoever, that is far sadder.
True, but it's like, you know, it's not as harsh, right? It's not as harsh. Like, if I had no feelings about you, then it's like, well, I don't have any feelings. But if I say I hate you, then you take note. Then you say, well, okay, I need to win M canning over.
Makes sense. But see, here's the thing, M canning, that would mean I would have to care about you to win you over.
That's true. It goes both ways.
It goes both ways indeed. Lings of Serral. Well, Serral is known in every matchup of just his incredible scouting. So he gets Lings in the main base once again, finds that time before the queens are out and the Lings are not quite in position. So Serral goes in, he says, okay, I see that there is in fact a spawning pool. It's wiggling. That's really all I need to know. But there's a small difference here, and we got to talk about it a little bit. Bly is still 3 for 3 on gas. And you know what? There we go. There is a very fast lair on the way here, M canning.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like we got the timer ticking down. I'm seeing the drones being produced. I'm saying, this is almost starting to look normal. But of course, Bly steers us right. I'm thinking, what do you think? 2 base Muta is on the cards here. I mean, we only have 1 gas, so wouldn't really make sense at the moment. But I guess I don't know my Zerg timing's clean enough to be sure. And we'll see when Serral's able to get back in and scout. I don't think that Overlord. Let me look. Did that Overlord see? Okay, that Overlord did see it already. So a very nice scout from Serral, and he's got quite a good idea of what is coming and probably how to handle it. And we do see the 3 gases. It does look like it will be that Spire play.
I had a call, but the scout, I guess, ruins that. Bly will occasionally go for he goes for almost like a Link Queen Nidus, and against Zerg that seems so weird, but it hits so fast because this was the layer went down before 3 minutes. Now that is insane. But well, for right now we got +1 on the way here for the roaches. There's a roach horn going down. But wait a minute. No, okay, he's going into gas. I'm gonna say, wait, are these fake gases like for the secondary Overlord scout? But as you did say, this should be Mutas. There's just too much gas otherwise. But the longer it goes until we have the Spire go down. But okay, roach speed. So I guess it's gonna be 4 gas +1 roach. Weird. Yeah, maybe he turns it into a Roach Nidus even. We'll see. It's kind of like, okay, there it is, the Nidus network. It's kind of like your Nidus Ling Queen build where he's kind of playing on his reputation. And if Serral got caught being too greedy, making too many drones, thinking, okay, this is going to be Spire, then he just gets out of control. He goes too many drones and then loses to this big Roach timing. And we see a lot of Lings being on the cards for Serral, so he does seem to be somewhat mindful of what could be coming. He does see the Roach Warren at the front. He sees the Evo Chamber upgrading. So it does seem like Serral is not fooled by what he has seen here, even though we were even fooled. So Serral showing his prowess here, and we'll see if he can handle this big Nidus network. Now, it is a lot of Roaches, but there are a lot of units on the map for Serral already, and he's got the outskirts on kind of block, and he does see the Roaches coming out, so he knows the Roaches are coming, and Roaches being on the cards for Serral as well, and we'll see if he handles this Nidus network. It's going to be a big attack from Bly, though, and Roaches can be very, very scary. I don't like this from Serral right now. Yeah, he got +1 Carapace, but it's going to be done right around the same time. +1 is done for Bly. Roach is already on the way now. Serral has absolutely no roaches. He has them on the way. He's on a significant ling count, but +1 lings versus +1 roaches, getting that +1 done means it's effectively, it invalidates the upgrade, right, that Serral has. And then Bly's roaches are better than Serral's roaches. So Roach is now trying to get on top of things. One queen not quite bursted down. He's looking for the surround here. We have 1-2 Ravagers looking for those biles, wrapping them down. But the lings, they're just not doing a lot of damage. We need to see more roaches, though, out of the Nidus. They're not pouring in just now. So the surround, this first fight from Serral, is actually turning out to be fantastic. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, the tech seems good for Bly. Everything, he's got more roaches, it's great. And then it's like, well, actually, no, he's playing against Serral, and it doesn't matter how good the build is.
Yeah, it was a beautiful surround. It definitely looked like it could have gotten dicey, but there were so many lings. The queens were there. The roaches were coming out for Serral, and Serral sees more roaches on the way, but handling that first wave, you really kind of need to keep the pressure up, keep the snowballing. We lost so many of those roaches in that first wave. It seems very, very hard for Bly to be in an okay spot here. Now, Serral saved the third, but there's no third for Bly. Serral up 9 drones, and he's getting everything. Now, we do see Burrow and Roach movement Burrow, which I do like a lot, but I don't know if it's going to be in time enough to really find the damage he's looking for.
This is just classic Bly. Bly is known for a couple things. He's known for being cheesy as hell, and he's also known for not leaving games. If there is a chance that he has a win condition, he will go for it. So I very much expect to see the Roach Burrow there. As now Serral trying to get on top of the Nidus, but Bly here, he kept a lot of roaches in the Nidus, and now these roaches, they're just going to go down. Either run away or pop them out earlier, but popping them out into the middle of the fight is not what you want. As Bly drops the Nidus on the bottom right side, trying to ping pong Serral around, but the Nidus on the north side already gone. And Serral on 3 hatch, Serral on 52 workers, significant leads. He just has so much. It's 90 army supply to 48. The fact that +2 is on the way for Bly doesn't matter. The fact that roaches exist doesn't matter. He just does not have enough, and this third base is just not going to stay alive.
Incredibly timed counterattack, sniping the third, and he just handled all the roach aggression so well. And I do think Bly maybe didn't think there were that many lings or as many units, because he did pop out those roaches, and he did take quite a few extra casualties there at that north side. And Serral now getting higher and higher in supply. I think he's going to just push across the map. I'm not going to wait till max. He says, look, I've taken quite a few wins. I've just killed the third. I know I've been producing more. I got more workers. My army is huge, and he knows it. And he's pushing across the map, and we got a lot of roaches, but there is a lot more roaches for Serral. No cancel in the third. Roaches diving into the natural. The lings getting on top of everything. Roaches on top of roaches, and the upgrades are not going to finish. The burrow is done, which is for style points on the other side, but there are just so many roaches here for Serral.
I mean, that's kind of sick, right? You burrow under the army because you see there's no overseer, and then you snipe the Ravagers. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter because Serral here, he's on 1-1, so equal in upgrades, effectively. I mean, he has +2, but still, roughly same amount, and he's up 100 army supply to 56. It is, what is that, 40 roaches to 20? It is just, you know, we can talk all we want about the cheeky moves, the fancy plays. It doesn't matter because more stuff at the end of the day does beat less stuff. Even now in the inferior concave, a second round of roaches from Serral running across. As the Nidus goes up in the main base, but Canning, Bly would need the world. He would need to literally have the world shift on its axis, cause Serral to fall out of his chair onto the floor, lose internet connection. Actually, no. He can't lose internet connection because then we would remake. He needs him just to fall on the floor, not do anything, have his roaches on hold command, and I'm not even sure that's enough.
He needs Serral to be hypnotized and somehow tap out, because right now Serral just has so much more. And like you said, this is classic Bly, staple Bly. Fight until the very end, but there is so much Serral here, and diving into the natural with similar numbers. Bly almost could make a hold here, but I think with these reinforcements, with the actual reinforcements, it will be over. But Serral diving on top of the army. The queen falls, the roaches fall, the drones are falling, and he might clean up this group, but there are a lot more roaches behind it, and game 1 goes to Serral. You know, kind of similar to the Jumi Showtime series. You know, I like where Bly's mind's at. I mean, Serral, of course, on hyper alert of the shenanigans that could come out, but kind of playing into that, he thinks, well, you know, the double gas, the full wall, as Serral, you can't be 100% there. You can't think, okay, this is definitely Mutas, this is definitely Roach. You're kind of playing on pieces of information, and, you know, kudos to Serral. He played it well, because, you know, you don't quite know exactly if it's Roach, if it's the Spire. Of course, he saw the upgrades at the front, but with Bly, you never know, and Serral shows us why he's Serral.
Yeah, the man is scary good. Yeah, the perfect reads. And I'm looking at this as like, there are more roaches than there are lings. And it's +1 Caravis versus +1 attack. Like, this should be good. Like, technically, this is good for Bly. He doesn't even have to worry about defender's advantage because he's got that Nidus. But he didn't get his roaches out of the Nidus. I don't know if you noticed, but there were multiple times where he was taking fights or getting set up for fights, and the roaches were not rallying out of the Nidus once they went into it. So he had all the supply, but it was not actually brought to the fight. He fought maybe with 70% of his supply in that big shifting fight where the lings got all the surround on the roaches. If he has 10 more roaches there, he wins that fight, I think. Or at least he trades much more even to the point where he can start snowballing. But it doesn't matter. And now we move.
There is something nice about being Bly or being the underdog in a situation where you're playing a big dog like Serral, where there really is no pressure on you. And I think you definitely can get some advantages. Of course, Serral's so solid in every asset, but you definitely have that spot where it's like, well, you can cut all the corners because you're the one that is, maybe doing something a little bit cheeky and they have to respond to it. So, I always don't think it's not the end of the world being the underdog. And I think Bly can make it happen. I think he can take a game, but it's going to be very hard for him to take a game. But we'll see.
Well, let's find out, because in the upper right, he's up 1. He is the actually, no, who am I kidding? He's disputed, but the GOAT, the 2-time world champion, he's Serral.
In the bottom left, one of the OGs would probably be, I wonder where he would rank in all-time games. Would he be top 5? I mean, he would be up there in total games of StarCraft played. It is a staple of StarCraft. It's Bly. I do wonder sometimes, you mentioned those roaches not coming out of the Nidus, and I know for me personally, I feel it feels like Bly is, he's so mature and he's been in the scene for so long. But, everyone has different competitive fires in them. I know for me, even when I'm playing a big dog like Neeb or, an Estrella, and, I'm not favored to win, but I feel like I've played bad. It can still feel really, really bad. So I do wonder, I'm not saying Bly played really bad last game. I thought he did fine, but I do wonder, in Bly's mind, if some of the things last game, maybe if the roaches popped out, if he is a little bit upset, even though, you're playing Serral, but even in a game of StarCraft, you just hyper focus on your mistakes and you think, man, I could have done that better. But, there was something there, and Serral deflected it, and it's just Serral at the end of the day.
You have to do so many things right to have a chance at Serral. And the funny thing is we see players, particularly in ZVZ, because there was a time, I think like 2019, where Serral, he didn't lose at all, really, but he was actually, arguably his best matchup was ZVZ. And then that was broken by Sue during Sue's IEM Katowice run. But Serral was known for, especially against Koreans, having this incredible ZVZ. And then some players, a very few, started to realize that, okay, well, Serral's scouting is so good in ZVZ in particular because of how Zerg scales, because of how you can do tech switches as a Ling will go in. It looks like drone. Oh, Spore, though. That's still money. When you're talking about a mirror, you want to be, as efficient as possible. But Zerg started to realize that, okay, well, we can turn Serral's scouting against him and show him two things to make it really hard for him to figure out what exactly is happening. Bly tried that game 1, didn't work. But game 2, there's that lair on the way once again.
Yep. It's just a good point. It is one of those things where it did feel, he was so predominant, and then it definitely felt a little bit vulnerable in ZVZ. That's why Serral is so impressive, because it's so hard to be, consistent. Like it's still Serral at the end of the day, but these guys can take games off each other. They can take series off each other any day. Nothing is guaranteed. Everyone is good. And I think sometimes it's just people, kind of underestimate how hard it is to be consistently good. All the top guys, even Serral, Raynor, and Clem, I look at them and I say, it is so dang hard to be that consistent, and just insanely impressive. And be interesting to see if Bly does the same exact build, because, you're probably thinking about it where he thinks, well, Serral wouldn't expect the same exact thing, but we have much faster roaches from Serral this game, no lings, no heavy ling flood, and Serral's also on 2 bases, maybe because the smaller map. Lair's done for Serral as well.
Yeah, that's a interesting setup here. Now, we do have to point out that Bly did not go for Zergling speed, and I believe... No, Serral can't... either Serral, I thought I saw Serral had his on the way, but at the very least he did cancel it. So both players going gasless, or functionally gasless, right? Not getting speed into this quick roach play. Both players on for gas as we get more and more roaches on the way. But the big difference now, we see Serral, he is taking that third base. It's defensive mirroring of Bly's play, whereas Bly, you talk about doing the same thing, he's doing the exact same thing. We got a Nidus on the way.
Yeah, I mean, I love how Serral's played it. I honestly like how Bly's playing it as well. Third base, the Nidus coming out. And we do see drones coming out from Bly, so he might even pop this Nidus network knowing that there is not many roaches coming out. Maybe more of a ploy to think, maybe I can get some extra drones out, maybe take a drone lead. We'll see where if Bly does decide to make a bunch of units, and he does cancel the Nidus network. Got scouted.
That's unfortunate. So he cancels it, which is a great idea. He says, look, I'm not doing the same thing again. But Serral drops the Changeling, and Bly kills the Changeling after the Nidus gets canceled. So Serral is well aware that this Nidus has been canceled, well aware that Bly is just trying to play some cheeky mind games, which means, well, as I say that,
well, he canceled it, instantly remade it, and then the Zergling came in and scouted it again. So he knows there's a second Nidus being made right now. So I mean,
no, I love the mind games, but unfortunately, not quite mind gamey enough.
Yeah, I would love. I really would have liked to see him just plop down the Nidus, maybe make Serral sweat a bit, and then just make a bunch of drones, try to get a bit of a drone lead. Love these changelings going in from Serral. Just so mindful. You know, he's seeing nothing going into the Nidus network. He's looking at it. He said, okay. And now Serral's on high alert. He's trying to scout around, and there is a Spire coming down, but there are a lot of roaches. So it looks like maybe the Spire is also fake, but you know how it is. Sometimes that gas gets banked up. But like you said, no speed from either player. I like how both players cutting a bit of corners, not getting that speed, knowing they can get away with no speed, and we got big roach balls coming out from both players.
Yeah, we do. And Serral's roach ball will be better. He does have Carapace on the way. That gas that Serral spent on that upgrade, well, technically, theoretically, it will be for me to play behind this. And we talk about Serral scouting. The Spire is the one thing that he has not scouted yet, but as I say that, he sees it now. So Serral now well aware of everything. And the question I ask myself, once again, do you cancel the Spire? Or at this point, is that just, have you canceled too many gas buildings?
It looks like he's leaving it. It would be pretty funny if he canceled it and made it into the natural. Just keep moving his buildings around. We do see the Inch of Hydralisk Den, Serral with the quick response. I think this will still be just Master Roach. Maybe, you know, a couple of mutants to kill some of the Overlords. But, you know, the big issue here is Serral's up 12 workers. And with that 12 worker lead, we already are seeing a 20 supply lead, but a lot of times that worker, when there's a big worker lead, you'll see it in about 2 or 3 minutes. You'll see that supply really skyrocket. You know, we're going to see Serral at max and Bly still at about probably 140, 145 supply. Just because that drone count is so big, we're seeing the units come out from Serral, and it is a few mutas, but that makes me almost more scared for Bly, because the Hydralisks are already out in big numbers.
I mean, actually, I kind of like this from Bly. As we see the mutas, it's only 4 of them. He's not committing super hard to this. But we have Serral. He already has 10 Hydras on the way. He's building spores everywhere. There is a world, and we see Bly taking it. Never mind, that's not a 4th base. That's just a bunch of roaches. It looked like a 4th base on the minimap. If you only get 4 mutas, and you've got all these Hydras, a big roach max sitting on with +2 can just swat this aside. Hydras are great if they can sit there in free fire, but they are not tanky whatsoever. So just a maxed out Roach Ravager army can do absolutely wonders. And the mutas, the 4 mutas here, they're going to do a great job of knocking Overlords from the map, of sweeping a lot of the vision, a lot of the map control from Serral's side. So Bly moving on the map here, he's building a lot of Ravagers, but he hasn't really been able to hit that army supply lead that he's looking for. And when you go for this punish on the Hydras, you want to be maxing out first.
Yeah, and it is a big roach ball. Now, there's big armies on both sides. It's going to be hard to go up that ramp for Bly, but as you can see, there's still the worker gap. So Bly's army is bigger if they get to that spot, but Serral says, look, I think my army's bigger. He's diving in, trying to get some of the Ravagers. Good splits already in the first part of the fight. Diving forward once more. The Roaches and the Hydras for Serral on top of everything here. And Serral says, look, my army's stronger, my army's bigger. And although there was a lot of Roaches, it just felt like Serral just kind of dominated that fight.
Yeah, Serral went into that fight about 10, 15 army supply up, and that was with his entire army could fight. About 8 army supply of Bly's could not. Serral also up an upgrade here with the Concave, the Surround on top of everything. Bly losing a couple Ravagers to start the previous fight means he just has less disengaged tools now, so he runs away. It looks like there's a Nidus in the main base from earlier. A bunch of Roaches will pop out from that one, so Bly, it's Chekhov's gun. The Nidus that is unfired, that is on the mantle on the first deck, should be fired by the third act, but unfortunately, it's just firing blanks. It's misfiring. It's not getting anything. It's just costing Bly some more money. And now we're going to see those Overlords go down. One of the goal of mutas is to kill your opponent's Overlords, and it feels very bad when Serral is actually killing Overlords more effectively.
Yeah, and that Carapace upgrade was absolutely huge for Serral. He knew he had that upgrade edge. He said, "I'm just taking this fight. Like my army is way stronger because I got this upgrade." And now, yep, all the Overlords are dying, and the Nidus networks are being popped out. But sad days for Bly. Really, we got 9 Overlords on the production tab. He's super supply blocked right now. He's going to be even more supply blocked. And Serral's max, and he says this game is not going to last much longer because my army is big, it is fierce, and I'm ready to get my 2-0.
So Bly went for mutas. Serral did not. Serral has killed 11 Overlords. Bly has gotten 2 Overseers, and that's it. That is not a good feeling here. Is now Serral on the high ground. Biles will prevent him from getting too far forward for a second, but just there are not enough Ravagers to have constant Biles to constantly keep Serral back. So now the Roach Warren will fall. More Ravagers here now. Bly trying to fight with the Broodlings with a bit of a concave, saying, well, I see your armies in my third base, but Serral's army on this side is too strong, regardless of the army he has elsewhere. With the better upgrades, with the Hydras, with everything else, Serral takes the clean, quick 2-0. And I think you said about 20 minutes for this series. We finished